Hello, this is Mark Costello, Product Manager for Titus. Today we're going to talk about HVAC and security applications with emphasis on air distribution and security grilles. We can define the mission of air distribution security grilles in very basic terms as devices that distribute airflow into a secured space while preventing physical access to or from the space, providing no opportunity to conceal contraband, and do not require continuous supervision in use, and provide safety, and that the occupant cannot use the device, its design, or any of its components to harm themselves or others. The two primary applications for security grilles and diffusers are correctional facilities and mental health facilities, although the robust nature of the security grille construction also makes them suitable for industrial applications. While the requirements for the product in both applications are very similar, the trends on the number of these applications is moving in opposite directions. As far back as the 1970s, state and federal funding for mental health facilities has been dramatically decreased, while funding for correctional facilities has increased. The factors are numerous, but for the most part, mass incarceration took a dramatic turn after the so-called three strikes legislation was passed in 1994. More recently, the immigration detention has been a factor that is part of government policy and accounts for projected increases in detention center construction. Further, youth incarceration rates have started to increase in spite of a general shortage of beds in juvenile facilities. The number of juveniles forced into adult facilities is evidence of this. The United States leads the world in many areas, and this includes incarceration. Consider this incarceration data from the National Institute of Corrections. There are many factors and much debate that contribute to incarceration rates, and the number of people in correctional systems is growing. Recent political initiatives have begun to target reversal of mass incarceration trends that began with the war on drugs in the 1980s and continued with the three strikes legislation in 1994. According to the nonpartisan research firm Prison Policy Initiative, decriminalization of drug offenses and budgetary constraints have started to shift nonviolent inmate populations from maximum security facilities to medium and minimum security facilities. The number of correctional facilities has risen constantly with population, and by far the states and counties are responsible for a far greater number of inmates and facilities than the federal government. As a result of mass incarceration, a shortage of facilities created massive overcrowding and a rise of private for-profit prisons. These became prevalent as state and county budgets were stretched thin by the sudden increase in incarceration rates. Private prisons now account for roughly 10% of the total population, with recent growth in medium security short-term sectors. Many southern states rely heavily on privatized correctional facilities, with the type of facilities in minimum, medium, or maximum security will vary greatly by state. Much of the design for prisons and other detention centers is dictated by the Americans Correctional Association, which is the corrections industry accrediting body that sets standards for all aspects of facility operation. Many standards are changing or even being eliminated, such as ASTM 750, which was governed the design and construction of maximum security grilles until 2004, when it was retired for lack of support. Privatization of the correctional industry has produced changes more quickly than government-operated facilities, and many standards have been revised based on modern prison design, management, and supervision. Direct supervision places officers in constant and direct contact with inmates, allowing them to get to know the inmates and recognize and respond to trouble before it escalates. Officers also become more responsible for the organization, supervision, and control of the daily operation of a direct supervision housing unit, since they are directly within the housing unit. Direct supervision has been credited with reducing vandalism, enhancing inmate and officer safety, and creating a more positive, less stressful environment for inmates and officers. Direct supervision also required new prison design. Local jails had traditionally been of linear design, rectangular buildings with corridors leading to single cells arranged at right angles to the corridor, resulting in intermittent surveillance at best of the cell. Direct supervision brings down the barriers, places control stations inside the inmate living areas, and keeps inmates together in day rooms rather than separately in cells. Inmates are aware they're being constantly supervised. Officers can step in quickly to address issues, and electronic monitoring systems provide officers with additional protection. It is difficult to know the number of facilities operating direct supervision management strategies, but the lower levels of security have changed the products used in these facilities, increased the safety of the inmates and officers, and lowered costs in most. There are a wide variety of air distribution security products available from many manufacturers. Selection is primarily accomplished based on the security level of the application. This leads us to the definitions and applications of these various security levels. You've probably heard terms like minimum security or maximum security on TV shows like CSI or Criminal Minds. But actually, there are several different levels of prison security. The custody level of inmates is based on mainly their criminal history or history while incarcerated, as well as special requirements or abnormal behavior. There are some classification differences between state prisons and federal prisons. The Federal Bureau of Prisons uses 5 different levels, while most states have 3 levels. For the sake of the majority of this activity, we'll explore the state levels: maximum, medium, and minimum security. The 3 basic levels of security, broadly defined by populace, the amount of supervision, and the type of facility, would follow along these lines. We will define each of these areas in more detail. Minimum security classification can be split between the 2 lowest levels of the federal classification: federal prison camps and federal correctional institutions. Both types of facilities house low-risk inmates who are not flight risks. They are the most economical facilities to operate, with dormitory-style quarters, unsecured perimeters, and low inmate-to-staff ratios. Economics make the construction and use of these facilities attractive. Approximately 17% of the federal prison population is housed in minimum security facilities, and 38% of the prison population is housed in low security applications. The use of general-purpose commercial mechanical products for low security facilities is prevalent on new and renovation projects. Minimum security classification applies mainly to state and county operated facilities. You may have passed by such a facility without noticing it. These are the lowest risk facilities. Inmates are low-level offenders with short-term sentences. Leaving one of these facilities without permission would amount to a crime greater than what the offense for which they were sentenced. There are no walls, no armed guards, no watchtowers. The cell in the photo above looks more comfortable than many dorm rooms in my youth. The air distribution devices for these facilities are usually conventional grills and diffusers, often with a restrictive faceplate such as a lattice grill. Typically, mechanical products within occupied spaces are secured with tamper-proof hardware, such as screws that require a specialized tool to operate or can be operated in the security direction only. While adding security to the device, the presence of the security device is as important as its function. In many correctional facilities, minimum security devices are used in lobbies, waiting rooms, visiting and meeting areas, and in this case, a louvered diffuser is installed in a metal panel ceiling. The diffuser, ceiling panel are sandwiched by a lattice grill face and a mounting angle. Tamper-proof hardware is used to secure the device. The requirements for state facilities vary, with many not requiring secure distribution devices at all for common areas with constant supervision. The louvered minimum security grill is an all-aluminum, all-welded design that works well in corrosive or humid environments, yet provides significant security. This type of grill is ideal for shower, bathroom, and kitchen areas. The 1/8 inch thick frame, blades, and sleeve provide security with the corrosion resistance of aluminum. These grills are also great for coastal areas and spaces that are hosed down. These are perfect for high sidewall applications in level 2 environments. The units pictured above are being used in return grills to draw steam from the shower area. "29% of the federal prison population occupies medium security facilities. Medium security facilities are common to both federal and state systems. These facilities feature securable multi-person and single-person cells, double fence perimeters with electronic detection systems, controlled movement within the prison, and a higher staff-to-inmate ratio than low-security federal prisons. All aspects of monitoring are enhanced and include indoor and outdoor video surveillance. The prevalence of violence varies among medium security federal prisons. This significantly depends upon the culture of the individual facility, though gangs are present throughout. Incidents of all levels of disciplinary misconduct are common at these facilities. Egress and safety are the chief concerns within a medium security facility. Medium security products are utilized in areas that are supervised much of the time, but where there are brief periods of non-supervision. Common medium security applications include common bathroom and shower areas, activity areas, and day rooms. Many aluminum products fall in the medium category because of the difference in hardness between aluminum and steel or stainless steel. Medium security products can obviously also be used in minimum security areas. Minimum security products do not generally have face-mounted hardware, and face design limits the ability to conceal and store contraband within the product. Often, medium security products feature overlap maximum security product features, including limited size face openings and mounting methods and options. The louvered medium security grill is robust yet cost-effective. The 18-gauge steel frame and sleeve and the 14-gauge blades at 3/8 inch spacing and 38-degree deflection provide a high sidewall solution to cell areas in medium security or level 2 and 3 environments. The grill construction is an all-welded, robust design, relatively impervious to damage or alteration, and the blade spacing makes concealment of contraband difficult. These grills are designed to be mounted in high sidewall applications and offer all the optional features of maximum security devices. The barrier grill may be familiar in appearance, as it resembles the long-time design of crossbars on jail cells. These barrier grills are used as egress prevention devices in air ducts or window openings. The all-welded construction offers open spaces no larger than 6 by 6 inches. Hardened or tool-resistant bars may be specified for critical performance requirements. In applications where a pressurized corridor running between rows of cells is used as a plenum, These barrier grills would be located at each end of the cell block in order to secure the corridor should a cell containment breach occur. Barrier bars with sleeves can be used for transfer purposes, particularly to traverse unsecured space between secured areas. In the event you're wondering about the 6x6 criteria for the open spaces between barrier bars, that is determined to be a space in which even the smallest human cranium cannot pass. This is done not so much to prevent escape, but to prevent escape attempts in which, given a slightly larger opening, an inmate's head could be stuck in the opening between the bars and create an extraction problem. High-security federal facilities house approximately 12% of the federal prison population. Securable single and multiple person cells, perimeters with multiple reinforced fences or walls, guard towers and other shooting platforms for armed guards, strictly controlled movement within the compound, and the highest staff to inmate ratio. The level of monitoring and video surveillance is significant at all high-security federal prisons. Gangs are a dominant presence, and racial and gang violence is rampant at the high-security level. Homicides are not common, but are not unheard of, as physical encounters often involve some type of prison-made weapon, such as a shank. Other incidents of disciplinary misconduct are frequent and often a high severity level. Inmates ineligible for placement at lower-level security prisons are housed at high-security federal prisons. Maximum security facilities are the most expensive correctional facility to build and operate. Therefore, few counties are in the maximum security business. The significant expense of these types of facilities is also the main reason for the rise in privatization of maximum security facilities. The fifth federal security level is administrative in nature and encompasses facilities with varied purposes and inmates. These facilities are specialized and run the gamut from minimum level medical centers to the supermax ADX units. Maximum security prisons, also known as high security in the federal prison system, house some of the worst criminals out there. These criminals have a violent history and have committed violent crimes while incarcerated. These inmates need the most security and pose a threat to other inmates, prison guards, and society as a whole. Maximum security prisons have heavy doors that are used to keep the inmates locked in the cells. They have a window to see out, a slot for the food tray to go in and out. The doors are operated by a prison guard at a control center, and the inmates typically spend 23 hours a day in their cells. During the hour they're allowed out, they're transported with physical constraints and escorted by several officers. The inmates are allowed to shower or exercise during their hour out of the cell. What do you think the outside of the prison looks like? It's about as severe as you're probably imagining. Picture the high concrete wall with electric chain barbed wire fences around the facility, several security towers with armed prison guards. Much like the inside of the prison, the outside also has the most security measures in place. Standing in the place from which the Supermax facility in this photo was photographed would lead me to go the opposite direction as fast as possible. The round perforated face security grille is one of the most popular styles of security products. It possesses a high effective free area while restricting storage of contraband by the use of 5/16 diameter holes. The grille utilizes a 3/16" thick faceplate. The back of the faceplate is welded to a steel sleeve that can be ordered according to wall thickness and is fixed by the use of a steel angle on the secured side. These grills can be ordered at a number of construction levels that include material choices, perforation sizes, fastening methods, barrier bars, and anchor bars. They are useful where maximum security and minimum supervision is required, such as cells and isolated areas. The square hole perforated grille provides three-tier steel construction for maximum opposition against penetration. The faceplate is constructed of one layer of 3/16" thick hot-rolled steel with 1/4" hot-rolled steel backer plate. These plates are manufactured with 2" square openings for air distribution. Sandwiched between the two plates is a 10-gauge 3/8" wire mesh to counter the insertion of articles into the duct. These maximum security grilles were both specifically detailed in ASTM 750, which was discontinued in 2004 due to lack of interest in maintaining the specification. Without a doubt, the largest safety concern in correctional facilities is self-harm and in particular suicide. Please note that the industry is quick to use suicide deterrence and not suicide prevention. Stopping someone who's determined to end their own life is extremely difficult without 100% round-the-clock supervision, a costly preventative measure. With approximately 7 to 80% of the inmate population suffering from addiction or mental illness, prevention of self-harm is an integral part of correctional and mental health facilities. Interestingly, there are few standards that spell out specifically how a grille should be constructed so as to deter suicide. California Title 24 created a specific sentence regarding the 3/16" diameter of the hole sizes used in perforated suicide deterrent grilles. Recently, the New York State Office of Mental Health has come out in disagreement with Cal Title 24 and saying they're too generous in recommending a 1/8" diameter perforation. The other two main governing bodies are more vague in their description of the devices required. In essence, there are two accepted styles of grille construction for suicide deterrent. The design of this perforated face grille provides a greater effective free area and superior airflow without compromising security and safety. The underlying principle behind the suicide deterrence is the small diameter of the perforation holes coupled with the thickness of the face, which cumulatively makes threading any type of ligature device virtually impossible. These small diameter perforated face suicide deterrent grilles comply with the National Institute of Corrections guidelines for suicide prevention and California Title 24. They are available with anchor bars, barrier bars, and a rear-operated internal damper. It is important to note that, as the name implies, these grilles are a deterrent to an inmate harming themselves and are not meant to imply that the product cannot be used to inflict harm or is suicide-proof. The perforated grille is far more economical than its louvered counterpart. This louvered suicide deterrent grille is primarily designed for overhead mounting and is constructed with V or W-shaped louvers that prevent the stringing of a ligature device through the grille. While still no guarantee of being a suicide-proof device, the louvered grille is a more costly alternative to the perforated device. Maximum security grilles are installed in quite a different way than conventional grilles. For starters, there are rarely mounting holes in the face. The grille is slipped into the wall opening and angles are welded in place from the back side. The duct is then connected to the rear of the grille sleeve. Often, the rear side of the grille protrudes into an active plenum space built into the facility to eliminate the use of ductwork and provides access to the plenum space by correctional personnel for inspection purposes. In this scenario, the grille is installed as an integral part of the wall. It is built in during the concrete block laying of a block wall or is part of the formwork created to pour a wall around the unit. Anchor bars are factory welded to the sleeve to ensure the grill cannot be slipped out of the wall once the concrete has cured. If ducted, the duct is then connected to the rear of the sleeve. A transfer grill is usually two perforated grill faces with a sleeve welded between them. The transfer grill is designed to allow air passage between the two secure areas separated by a solid wall. In this installation, a transfer grill is installed to provide airflow through a wall and securing the opening on each side. As with the previous two installation examples, the transfer grill becomes an integral part of the wall and egress is restricted. The grill is grouted into the wall as the wall is built. The factory welded grill faces keep it from being slipped out of the wall. Originally known as the St. Louis County Justice Center until 2004, the Westfall Justice Center provides a safe and secure environment for staff to monitor and supervise incarcerated individuals. The 14-story, 528,000 square foot Justice Center contains 960 jail cells, 3 criminal courtrooms, 1 grand jury room, an evidence processing room, office spaces, and spaces for medical treatment. The Westfall Justice Center utilizes the direct supervision management philosophy to manage the general population housing areas. This style, unlike the traditional linear jail style, places correctional officers directly within the inmate living units and provides the officers with immediate visual observation and continual interaction with the inmates. This constant proactive monitoring of the inmates allows the officer to handle problems before they get out of hand. The use of conventional slot diffusers was possible because of the direct supervision and high ceilings. When dealing with facilities that house potentially dangerous individuals, nothing is overlooked. The air outlets must be well equipped to reduce harmful incidents while delivering superior performance. Titus has supplied several security products for this facility. The perforated maximum security grill was the primary security grill featured within the cell block areas of the Justice Center. It is a maximum security grill that provides superior performance without compromising security and safety. Another feature of this grill is that it prevents the concealment of potentially dangerous or lethal objects. The Detention Center is part of the expansion of Denver's Civic Center, which includes the State Capitol, City and County buildings, the Denver Mint, and located across from the new City Courthouse. These two buildings create a new pedestrian mall connecting the Golden Triangle neighborhood with the Central Business District. The 1,500-bed detention center serves pre-sentenced inmates remanded to the custody by the courts. Designed to create a unified relationship with the existing Civic Center buildings, maximize outdoor public spaces, and provide a flexible range of housing types, it includes a tunnel connection to the new courthouse, allowing for the secure movement of inmates to the court. The detention center features high ceilings in common areas in which there is constant supervision when occupied. This makes the use of the common slot diffusers acceptable as shown. The facility features segregated pods for housing a variety of inmates, including juveniles and inmates suffering from mental illness. Because the cells are constantly monitored by video cameras, medium louvered security grills were used to provide excellent performance in the cells. The medium security louver grill is used in high sidewall applications so that an unobstructed view of the grill and other mechanical components is always visible to the camera via the door and window. With heavy gauge steel louvers welded to a steel sleeve that extends through the wall, this is an exceptionally strong bar grill with fixed 38-degree deflection and 3/8 inch blade spacing. 14-gauge blades mean there is little room for concealment of contraband. Like most industries, the correctional industry is evolving and changing. From the direct involvement managing policies to multifunctional facilities and the downgrading of low-risk inmate security status and reduction of mass incarceration policies, the methods, models, products, and practices of the past are giving way to new ideas and new ways of thinking about corrections. While this industry will be around forever, the types of products we use and specify will certainly change. For more information on these case studies and others, please visit our website at www.titus-HVAC.com. The case studies can be found under the Literature tab. Thank you for joining us today for this webinar, and now we take your questions.